Welcome back to Responsive Web Design Techniques. I'm Rob, your tutor, and last time we built our beautiful cat picture box. So I actually added an 11, so let's go ahead and pull the last one out, just because I'm a little nitpicker like that. And we talked about how as we scaled them down, they became small and useless. So in the same way that we changed this using media queries, we're going to hop back over to our media queries. We're going to copy our screen 767 pixels one, and we're going to say tablet. And now this is very loosely tablet. Remember that I said that media queries aren't a specific size, but we're going to specify 1024. This is 1024 pixels. I'm going to copy it and then close it. And we're going to say 1024. Now, the thing to remember with media queries is the same way that a CSS style sheet stacks. So if you declare something at the top and then you redeclare it as something else further down, and then you redeclare it as something else still further down, it takes the cascading style. It takes the last one. So in the same way, here's the little test. On our style sheet regular, we've got no styling on the body. We've got a body background FF4444 on the tablet size, and then on a phone we've got body background FF44FF. So let's hit Command S and see what that does. Now you can see that we're on a tablet because it's got the red background. And I say we're on a tablet, I mean we're using a tablet, in air quotes, size browser. Remember that, like I said last time, people will still browse your website at different sizes on a desktop. So bear that in mind when you're creating the functionality, that you don't just assume that they're pressing buttons with their thumbs, but they're also using a cursor. So here's the test. That's bigger than a tablet, tablet, phone. Bingo. That was really, really simple. And what we're going to use that for is we're going to declare several things to do to these cats. Now I don't mean that in a mean way, but we're just going to change their size. So let's close those body things off because we don't need them now. And we're going to hop back over to here and we're going to copy what we said our image grid square was. Let's copy that and we're going to pop it into here. Now what that does is it means that at this size it's declaring these things. Now these are the same as what we were. The only thing we're going to want to change is we're going to want to make our cats 4 long, not 5. So what we're going to want to do is when we get to this size, we want to say that we want our cats at 25%. We're not changing the float, so we can delete that. We're not changing the padding, so we can delete that. And we're not changing the overflow hidden, so we can delete that. Hit Command S, jump back in. I'm going to scale up to the full size so we can see what it does. Refresh. And as we scale down, you'll see that as we hit 1024 pixels wide, our cats jump from being 5 abreast to 4 abreast. And the way you work this out is 100% is your full width, and as we're working in percentages, if you want 4 to fit, it's 100 divided by 4. And they say responsive maths is scary. It's really, really not. 100 divided by 4 is 25. 100 divided by 5 is 20. I'm glad I didn't embarrass myself there. But again, as we continue to scale down, on a mobile, they still get a little bit too small. So we're going to redeclare it on a mobile. So let's copy that, and let's paste it over and say, when you get that, we want nice big kittens for our mobile. So we're specifying it to be 50% this time. So as we get too small for tablets to use a 25% width cat, we're specifying it at 50. And as we scale up again, we get more. And this is just an example of how you can specify something as many times as you like through as many different media queries. You might have 10 different tweak points where it's not quite right at this size, so you want to make it 48%. Or you want to make it 33 on a mobile, but then when you get to a really small mobile, you want it to go up to 100%. So in this example, we're just going to show you what it looks like when we take it all the way down to 400. So let's say at 400 pixels wide, we want our image grid square, because that's what is holding our cats, to be 100% wide. So as you scale down, there's the 100. Because any smaller than this, and we'd still be too small with our 50%. And that's just an example of a tweak point. We're only changing one thing, but that's perfectly okay. You might only be changing one thing. Maybe avoid having loads and loads. You don't want to have 100, say, because the chances are you could bring a couple together to use them in the same light. Now the other thing we said we were going to talk about is this columns. They're not long enough. the line length is way too short now. We've gone the other end of the scale. So in the same way we declared our container P to have all these columns, we're just going to grab that, head over to make sure it's within these tags. So this is before closing, and we're going to paste that in. And because our line height is not changing, let's delete that. And we'll just make our columns 1. And hit refresh. And there we go. As we get to a mobile size, it switches from being 2 columns to 1 column. It's changing the user experience, but you're not moving so far away that you feel like you're using a different site. You're making the best user experience for every user so that your site can be completely device agnostic. And you'll notice how these sessions are getting shorter and shorter because we've done the legwork. We've put our media queries in and we're just specifying new things. So that's that. That's the easiest way of doing it. There's no jQuery involved, no JavaScript. It's just some pure CSS and some floats with percentages. And that's pretty much that. So next session, we'll just look at talking about some image issues when we're looking at them on mobile and just some good practice when we're building this kind of thing. So I'll see you guys next session.